The topic of who will enforce animal control ordinances in Columbia County was up for debate again tonight after the sheriff announced he won't do it after all. TV 20's Taylor Simpson tells us why residents say it's becoming a big problem.
Many people say animal control is a big issue here in Columbia County, and they're hoping that the commission will take steps to fix it. The responsibility for who will be in charge of animal control in Columbia County has changed hands again.
It was Sunday morning at 5 a.m. and there was a sick, wounded dog walking on one of the busier streets here. And I have no faith that somebody's going to be up.
The discussion started after the sheriff's office sent commissioners a letter saying they won't accept the additional responsibilities and giving them back nearly $43,000 of funding for it.
In certain neighborhoods, there's horrible feral cat situations, and then even in the neighborhood that we were talking about today, there's a feral chicken problem.
Other speakers echoed her message, saying the Humane Society won't answer their calls and nothing is being done.
Dogs in the neighborhood come in my yard and attack my dog. We've called the sheriff's department, no response. Called animal control, no response. Called the Humane Society, they said we didn't even call.
Commissioners discussed the issue to figure out what to do with animal control.
I kind of wish that we could do animal control with county employees so that we have control of that aspect, because I want them to have a dress code. I want them to have, there's things we want them to do that make them professional.
In a unanimous vote, they went with that plan, but they extended their contract with the Humane Society for at least a year. In Lake City, Taylor Simpson, TV 20 News.